Okay, so our management team, after reading through the Midwest vending machine case, could we start over? 'Cause I didn't get my sheet up.
Doesn't matter, it's okay.
Okay.
And feel free to use your notes, so.
Okay, so our management team, after reading through the case paper, the Midwest vending machine case paper, we have some concerns about Jim's recent conduct. He took $28 in coins from the company machines, and we are deciding to give him an unpaid disciplinary layoff of 3 weeks from the company and giving him a lower paying position when he returns to the company. And first, to support our statement that Jim took $28 in coins from the company, and to support that statement, it says, on the case paper, it says, on January 31st, Jim was called into the central office where he admitted to taking $28 in coins. So that's point number one. And to further explain our punishment of giving Jim an unpaid disciplinary layoff of 3 weeks from the company and giving him a lower paying position when he returns to the company, we'll state some facts. So our punishment for Jim has two parts. The first part is, first part of our punishment is the unpaid 3 week disciplinary layoff. Our first part of our punishment is the 3 week disciplinary layoff from the company, and the second part is giving Jim a lower position when he returns to the company. So first, we'll explain the first part of this punishment, which is the 3 week disciplinary layoff from the company. So first, Hal Lingle got a 2 week disciplinary layoff for taking $13 or $14 in marked coins. But Hal Lingle had not been briefed on the procedures. So on the case paper it says, upon investigation of the situation, it was found that Hal had not been briefed on the procedures for dealing with overflow coins, and there could be some doubt to his intent. Although he had between $13 and $14 in marked coins on his person, the result was that Hal received a 2 week disciplinary layoff. So because of this, and Hal, he wasn't briefed on the procedures, and he took coins from the machines, but Jim did know the procedures, and he took coins from the machines. And because of this, we decided to give Jim a 3 week unpaid layoff from the company for his actions, because Jim knew the procedures but still violated them. Jim's 3 week layoff is longer than Hal Lingle's 2 week layoff, but this 3 week unpaid layoff punishment is fair because Jim knew the proper procedures. This explains our thought process in giving Jim an unpaid 3 week layoff from the company. We are not sure whether Hal Lingle's 2 week layoff was paid or unpaid, but either way, Jim knew the proper procedures, and we feel the 3 week unpaid layoff from the company is a fair punishment since Hal Lingle got a 2 week layoff and was never briefed on the procedures. So the next part of our punishment for Jim is that we are giving Jim a lower paying position when he returns to work at the company after his unpaid layoff from the company. We've chosen to give Jim a lower paying position when he returns to work at the company because there's evidence in the Midwest vending machine paper that Jim knew the procedures, and as a company, this is not something we tolerate, and breaking the rules deserves punishment. We know Jim knew the proper procedures because on the case paper, there's evidence. It says, on January 4th, 2020, a new procedure for reporting overflowed coins in the machines was implemented, and all employees were instructed as to the procedure. At that time, the repair employees were reviewed on the conduct matter again. All employees were instructed. This says all employees were instructed as to the procedure, so this means Jim knew the procedures. The case paper also says, as he checked his assignment, the supervisor talked with him about how to handle overflow coins and was satisfied that Jim knew the proper procedures. It says that Jim's supervisor was satisfied that he knew the proper procedures, therefore Jim has no excuse to violate the procedures. Jim knew the rules but violated them. Another piece of evidence is on the case paper. It says, in fact, a special instruction on self-reimbursement had been issued a month before, which directed the employees to file a voucher for reimbursement of their funds used in testing the machines. Special instructions had been issued a month before about self-reimbursement. Therefore, Jim has no excuse to be violating the rules and not following the procedures. So this evidence above is why we have decided to give Jim a lower paying position when he returns to the company. Jim has no excuse to be taking coins from the machines because the evidence we have just stated above shows that Jim knew the proper procedures. It appears that Jim has just chosen not to follow the proper procedures. Overall, we feel our decision to give Jim an unpaid 3 weeks disciplinary layoff from the company and giving Jim a lower paying position when he returns to the company is a fair punishment. This issue with taking coins from machines has happened in the past, and we feel if we give Jim a lower paying position when he returns to the company after this 3 week layoff, this punishment will help prevent other employees from doing what Jim did and stop them from taking money from the machines, and stop employees from taking money from the machines. An interest we have is that we want to make sure that the company procedures are followed and show an interest that we have is that we want to make sure the company procedures are followed and show that there will be consequences for not following the company procedures. We want to make sure the punishment we give Jim will help prevent employees from taking coins from machines in the future. And that's our position on this case. So would you like to?
All right, so we believe that Jim should only be demoted for 1 week to have lower pay, and that also he may return to work after 1 week to his regular job. We also believe that Jim has not had a raise since he's worked with us for 19 years, and that was the possible reason of him taking the $28 in coins. We believe that Jim should get a $7 raise so that he can make $27 an hour instead of $20 an hour. And then he's been with the company for 19 years, and he gets the same as an employee who's been there for 1 year. Hall also was only let go for 2 weeks and received a 2-week disciplinary layoff. Although he did know, he only took 13 and 14 in marked coins. It also does not say whether Jim took marked coins or not, which is very possible he took marked coins. So it seems like the same situation as Lingle. He's been with the company for so long, we feel like that 3 weeks probably is a little too much for him to be laid off for, and then to also be demoted from a week. Is there any possible way that you think you could lower that?
Say that again.
Like, is there any possible way you think you could lower the disciplinary action?
So your reasoning for lowering it is because what was your reason?
Well, Jim's been here for 19 years, so he's one of the longest lasting employees we've ever had, and he has not had a raise in those 19 years. So we believe Jim should not be let go for 3 weeks. However, we do believe that he should be getting a raise, and the disciplinary action should be lower than 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: do you think, because he took $28, and that's evidence, right? So would you say that? Wouldn't you agree that he should pay the money back that he took knowingly? He knew the procedures, but he took the money.
Well, I don't necessarily agree because of the fact that he hasn't had a raise in 19 years. Him taking $28 is very little to the amount of money that we should be paying him over the 19 years.
Yeah. Because I stated that our company, this negotiation isn't just about Jim. You know, our company, we want this issue of coins being taken from machines by employees to stop. So I guess you're looking at it from the perspective that he's never gotten a raise, and that's understandable. But
Well, here's the other thing too, is if Hall did not know that he was never briefed on the procedures, and that is also on you guys. However, Jim was the only person that was briefed on the procedures, which means other employees are possibly not briefed on the procedures. So how do you know that nobody else has stolen coins from the vending machines? If only Jim was briefed on the procedures.
Jim wasn't just briefed on the procedures. It says on January 4th, 2020, a new procedure for reporting overflow coins in the machines was implemented, and all employees were instructed as to the procedure. At that time, the repair employees were reviewed on the conduct matter again. So we can lay that to rest, you know.
Yeah, but that was after December 9th, after Hall had already been let go. So what about the employees before that possibly stole coins as well?
So I'm having a hard time following your position because it's clear that all employees were instructed to the procedure. So Hall, he got a 2-week layoff. But Jim, then on January 4th, all employees were instructed as to the procedure. Then on January 30th, it says Jim's supervisor talked with him about how to handle overflow coins and was satisfied Jim knew the proper procedures. Right? So,
Well, we
because
just believe
like
that-
I said, like an interest we have is to make sure the company procedures are being followed and to show that there's consequences for taking money out of the machines. You know?
Well, we just believe that there's been a lack of communication between employees and the managers with the company. So that meaning that Jim should not have a 3-week layoff disciplinary action and be demoted when he comes back. We believe that it should be 1 week, and he should be demoted for only 1 week, and then he should also get a raise on returning back to his normal special agent job.
You think you should get a raise after what you've done?
Well, yeah, he's been here for 19 years and has never had a raise, and he gets paid the same amount as an employee that's been here for 1 year.
Okay.
So I feel like
But
stealing...
you said you don't think you should pay back the $28 though?
No, I don't think so, because over the past 19 years, he's turned in other items like purses and $300 to show his loyalty. And the rules that you guys have on, it says a paragraph about dishonesty and misuse of stealing of company property. He was extremely honest about stealing the coins, so at least he knew that he was doing it. However, we think that over the years that he's been here, and since he's returned items and even returned at $300, that stealing $28 in coins is really little compared to the bigger picture here, that he needs a raise and that his disciplinary action should not be more than 3 weeks or more than 2 weeks. 1 week being let go and 1 week being demoted.
I think along with that, like, we need to look at the company as a whole and its history, and we have had history of people complaining about harsh working conditions. On top of that, like lack of communication, as we saw with the first case. So I think you guys need to take accountability for how that wasn't communicated and how, like, what things you guys can do to prevent that from happening in the first place. And like the other thing, I think that is a pretty harsh punishment that I think would just cause like bad repercussions in the company, because there would be a lot of people like on Jim's side, like in the community, who will, you know, be against the company, and I just think that it will cause a lot of outrage and also problems in hiring other employees in the future.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a question. If you were on management side and you were reading this, how would you look at it, how would you look at this situation? Would you think that Jim should be punished for what he's done?
I think he should be punished, but I think your punishment was
It's
way
really
too
harsh.
harsh.
I think we have to look at it from a standpoint of like, okay, this is the first time Jim's done something bad for us in 19 years. That's a really long time to stay with the company. You don't hear a lot of people staying with the company for 19 years. So I believe one incident that has occurred with him is not enough to lay him off of his job and demote him and have a 3-week layoff to where he will now no longer make money for 3 weeks and make lesser pay than what he is, and we haven't even given him a raise in his 19 years of working here.
So I have a question for you all. Part of your argument is essentially, well, it should be fine that he stole from the company because he hasn't received a raise. Are we justifying theft because he hasn't received,
I don't think we're necessarily justifying theft. I think it's the lack of communication that has resulted in theft. However, I think Jim stealing $28 is a very little case of theft. And we don't even know if they were marked coins. They could have been possibly marked coins and that he took out. And since he's turned in multiple things before and he's well known in the community, I feel like that stealing $28 is not as much as that we honestly owe him for his years of service that he's given to us.
Okay, so I hear your point of view, and Jim has been here for 19 years, and we do value him as a worker, but at the same time, we value our company, and Jim is a worker of the company.
Well, it doesn't really seem like you value.
Well, your
him as a
company's run
worker
off your
if you're not,
employees.
like, giving him a higher raise. Like, he's being paid the same amount as an employee who's been there for a year. And he's been with the company for 19 years, so I feel like it's just rude.
is it on management to give a raise for an employee who has not asked? If Jim wanted a raise, he could come in and we
Of
could
course
ask
it
for
is,
some.
though. I mean, even if he hasn't asked for one, he's been here for 19 years. You guys should have taken it upon yourself to give him some form of a raise over the last 19 years.
So, so you guys think reducing his pay after? So you guys think that he should get a 1-week layoff and
A 1-week demotion.
1-week demotion? Wait, you said a 1 week, just demotion meaning lower position or lower pay?
Is your guys' argument for the solution 1 week of reduced pay and then back to his original position with a raise?
No, not necessarily. We're not saying he shouldn't be demoted for pay. We're just demoting him from his being a special agent. Because at this point, his pay's been the same either way, so his pay's not going to change because he hasn't had a raise. We just think that he should have a week laid off and then 1 week of not being a special agent. So he would do something else for the company for 1 week.
Sorry, you said you should have 1 week laid off, and then when he comes back, he should have 1 week
Demoted, yes.
1 week layoff and 1 week demotion. Yeah, could you give more detail on what that means?
Just basically like how Hall Lingle was laid off for 2 weeks. That was his disciplinary layoff. So we just want Jim to be laid off for 1 week. And as you said, you guys feel like he should be demoted from his job. In general, you never specified if it was weeks, months, years. So I'm assuming that it is in general. We think that Jim should only be laid off from his job for 1 week, and then he should be demoted from his current job for 1 week. Instead of your 3-week disciplinary layoff and however long that you guys wanted to demote him for.
So from your side, would that demotion include a decrease in pay to the new position that he would be in, or?
No, I think this has nothing to do with the pay at this point until he comes back to his regular job.
But why would we pay you for being a technician if we were demoting you to a lower position?
Well, it's
that
only
did
for
not
1
require those
week,
same
so-
skills?
Well, that's the problem though. I mean, he's been here for 19 years, so why would we demote him his pay? He has
Because
never had a
if you're-
raise, so why should we lower his pay?
Because if you're not functioning as a technician, we should not pay you as a technician.
Right, but you're gonna pay a 1-year employee that just got here the same amount that he is. So,
We would be paying a technician with the same skill set, the same salary. That is correct.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but he's been here for 19 years and is getting paid the same as a new hire, basically. So why would we demote his pay for his 19 years of service and then not pay him anymore?
So this again goes back to my question of why would we pay somebody not working as a technician
Well, I
salary?
understand that, but it's only for 1 week. It's not, I think the 1 week demotion and the 1 week layoff of no pay is fair enough I don't think his pay should be lowered for 1 week. We're already laying him off for 1 to whatever weeks, and he will have received no pay. So I feel like lowering his wage on a demotion for only 1 week is,
What do you guys think about giving him a disciplinary layoff of 3 weeks and then coming back and giving him like a promotion?
So we would be
You're not
rewarding
rewarding
a
because,
violation of policy?
how?
Well, I mean, so I
You're
understand
giving him a
the 3 week
disciplinary layoff,
disciplinary.
that
Oh,
he
is it-
has a
is it
family
unpaid or
of his
paid?
own, like, he has people to provide for. I feel like that is
Is it unpaid or
a harsh
paid? It's the
punishment
layoff.
in itself.
Is the layoff paid or unpaid? Because
the layoff is